If you listen to people like Dave Ramsey, he will always say, pay off your mortgage as quickly as possible. But if you hear another kind of advice from other investors, they always say, no. Drag that mortgage as much as possible and invest the money somewhere else. In this video, I will crunch the numbers for you about paying off the mortgage versus investing. And I'll also give you the pros and cons of each option, which doesn't happen regularly in other videos. So you can take the best decision that works for you. Hi there, my name is Jaime Shekab and welcome to my channel, The Foreigner in America, where I teach locals and foreigners everything related to money. So if you're someone like myself that loves money and personal finances and investing, and you want to learn how to place your money in the best place or make it multiply or just be financially independent, please subscribe to this great channel and hit that bell so you don't miss any one of my 2 weekly videos. And I also post on Instagram at The Foreigner in America. I have a blog, theforeignerin.america.com, which I elaborate more on the foreigner insight for you. And I have a book, A Foreigner in America Can Succeed, which is a solid read. You can click below in the description and check it out. Just read a little bit and trust me, you will love it. First of all, before we start, let me tell you that I have nothing against Mr. Dave Ramsey over here. I think he is a good guy, and his investment advice has helped a lot of people that are drowning with their finances. The good thing about this video is that not only I'm crunching the numbers for you on whether to pay off the mortgage or not, I'm gonna give you the pros and cons of each option, and I wanna give you a good conclusion so you can take the best out of it, which doesn't happen in other videos. I wanna use one of my mentors in YouTube called Graham Stephan, which he says that this video is sponsored by the like button. So if you hit that like button, you will make me really happy. It will help my channel. And if you really like this content, I'll highly appreciate it. So the first approach is the Dave Ramsey approach. So you should get a 15-year mortgage and pay it off as fast as possible. So he wants you to be completely debt free. So for this particular example, for the first scenario, I will use the average price of a house in America and the average salary in America to make it feasible or fit for the most amount of people out there. So the average salary in the US is $53,490 per year. And the average home price in America is $269,039. So taking a 15-year mortgage at a 3% interest for 15 years, you will come up to pay $2,118.47 a month. So if you bring in $53,490 a year, after you pay your taxes and you put a good 10%, which is what Dave Ramsey says, on your 401k, you will be left with around $40,000 per year or $3,300 per month approximately. So after paying $2,118.47 for the mortgage, you are left with $1,181.53 per month just to live. That is pretty steep for a mortgage. So that means that you cannot afford a 15-year mortgage for the average house in America with an average salary. So point number one, very important. If you make an average salary in America, you cannot afford the average home with a 15-year mortgage at 3% interest. So just by changing this from a 15-year to a 30-year, which Mr. Ramsey doesn't approve, but I'll make it for the example to be more feasible for you, then your payment will drop to $1,590 per month. That's a lot more feasible. You will be left with $1,710 per month to live. It is still pretty steep though, because that's like 48% of your monthly income for the house. That's ridiculous. It should be 25 to 30%. So that brings me to point number two. You cannot afford the average house with the average salary in America. It's sad, but it is what it is. So people that fire, like they are financially independent and retire early in America, make a lot more than $53,000 a year. So anyway, if you live off of that particular income that I just told you, and maybe you rent the house out by the room, and you live off $855 per month, so you save half and put half into the house, you can make an extra payment of $855 into the mortgage. And you will pay off that mortgage in 214 months earlier. So that means you will be paying off the house in 12 years instead of 30. Which brings me to point number 3. Living off a miserable income is unsustainable. 12 years is a lot of time to pay off a house this way. So if you want to use the 50-50 method, you spend 50% and you invest 50% in the mortgage extra to whatever payment you have, you can do that for 1 to 5 years. But it's just unsustainable to do it for 12 years. You will be miserable. Even if Mr. Ramsey says you should do it your entire life, I know what I'm saying. It's unsustainable. So make sure either you make more money or you get a cheaper house or you rent for a little bit more and save more for a down payment. Now, let's say that you don't want to pay off the house. So scenario number 2 is that you just pay your mortgage, whatever it is, for 30 years, and you invest the rest of the money in an index fund that gives you around 8% return for 30 years. Let's look at it. So when you invest those $855 into the index fund for 12 years, you will end up having $203,000 in your account with compound interest. So let's project this to 12 years and then 30 years. So let me show you this chart over here, which will be exactly what I'm talking about so you can see it clearly. So in the 12-year scenario, you have 2 things: paying off the house and then investing. So this means that for 12 years, you're going to be miserable and you're going to pay the $1,590 to the mortgage, and then your other half of your income, you're going to split it in 2, and 50% you're going to put it as an extra payment into the house, and you're going to live off $855 per month, which is not a lot of money, for 12 years, which is unsustainable. But anyway, if you do that, your index fund will be 0 because you're not investing, but the mortgage pay down will be $269,039, which is the price of the house because it's paid off. So the total money that you're going to have is $269,039 plus whatever appreciation of the house. But if you invest and you not pay the house off, you're going to end up with $203,000 in an index fund plus $117,731. That's how much you paid off of the mortgage in 12 years. So the total is $320,731 plus whatever appreciation. I'm not taking the appreciation into account because it's the same in both scenarios, so I can eliminate it from the equation. But the interesting part here is the 30-year scenario. So this means that person A decided to pay off the house for 12 years and then start investing the other 18. And person B just said, no, I'll just pay the mortgage, but I will invest the whole 30 years. So the person who paid off the house after year 13, they will start investing not just $855, but $855 plus $1,590, which was the mortgage payment. So everything, whatever they paid for the house, plus whatever they pay for an extra payment, all that money they're going to put in an index fund for 18 years at an 8% compounding. And that's $1,145,844.60. Plus the house, which is paid off, $269,039, equals $1.414 million. That's 30 years. But the person who did not put extra money into the house and actually took 30 years to pay it off, but it was constantly investing the rest of the money. So the $855 every month for 30 years, the money index account will be $1,212,059.32 plus the house, which is $269,039. It will be a total of $1,481,098.32. So you can see there is not quite a big difference. So let me give you my foreigner insight for this video and my conclusion. It is showing that both scenarios make you about $1.4 million in 30 years, which is pretty good money. And both scenarios, you have your house paid off. Both scenarios, you have a good amount of money in an index fund. And I'm not taking into account that in 30 years, you might make more money. You might get raises, you might get bonuses, you might do side hustles, you might start a business, you might do a lot of things that will increase your income. And if you're intelligent enough, like myself, to maintain those expenses stable and not increase them with your income, spend the same money, but increase your income. So that gap, put it away into investing as much as you can. So you invest not just 50%, but 60, but 70, but 80, and you just invest like crazy. That 1.4 could be a lot more money though. Or if you do it in real estate by myself, you can have a lot of properties, a lot of cash flow, appreciation, all this good stuff. But my conclusion is both scenarios are correct. Both scenarios you can live off with. I'm not saying like Mr. Ramsey. Mr. Ramsey says scenario number one, paying off your house, is the only scenario that is the good one. Just having a 30-year mortgage and investing the rest is just inconceivable. It's wrong. You should not do it. No, it depends on your risk tolerance. It depends on whether or not you like monthly payments. If you're a person like myself that hates monthly payments, then you should just pay it off early. And whenever you pay it off, you start investing. If you're a person that doesn't care about monthly payments, then you can pay it off for 30 years. And be grateful that you just have a 3% interest rate, which is pretty low. The problem here is that this is unsustainable. Paying off a house for 30 years and investing the rest of the money is pretty sustainable. You can have a normal life and be okay, but if you're living miserably for year after year after year, there's life-changing moments that happen in 30 years. There's a lot of things that could happen in 30 years. There could be an accident. It could be a life-changing moment like having a baby, like getting married, like a big expense, like a sickness. I mean, God forbid, but things can happen that can trunk whatever situation that you had contemplated for your money for 12 years. So it's very hard to do the Dave Ramsey way. It's not sustainable for more than 5 years. If I were you, I would recommend that you pay that house off in 30 years. Unless you have a lot of cash, a lot of income, and you want to get away with it, then yeah, pay it off. Take that debt away so you can fire quicker. If you have a mortgage payment, you cannot fire that easily. You need a lot more income, passive income to fire. But it's your choice. It's not that one thing is wrong and the other one is right. Both are right. As long as you're able to control yourself, control your spending, and have a budget and just say, I'm going to spend this amount of money. That's all I need. Now I make this, so I can save the gap. But I want to make this amount, more and more and more and more, and keep your expenses in the same place. That's what the top 10 or the top 1% people do. The rest, make more, spend more, make more, spend more, make more, spend more. Bigger house, bigger car, nicer car, luxuries, trips, expense. So then what matters if you're making $1 million a year, if you're spending $1 million a year? You're still broke. So my recommendation is go for scenario number one, pay off the house if you hate monthly payments, if you want more security. If you don't care about freezing that money up in a house, make sure you buy in a place where it appreciates. Or if you're the person that tolerates risk and you just want to invest all the money that you can before paying off that house and make use of such good interest rate today, then don't pay it off and do like situation number two. Both will make you rich in 30 years. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, give me a like and subscribe to this great channel and hit that bell so you don't miss any one of my weekly videos. Check out my Instagram, my blog, and my book. Check out my book, read a little bit, you will love it. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.